Good morning to all my fellow educators, especially to Sir Benjamin P. Bautista, Principal 4 of Natividad National High School, and to my friend Sir Glenn, the proponent of this in-service training. Thank you for this opportunity. My talk is about the concepts and impact of innovation in education. The knowledge that I am going to share with the group today is anchored to my international training by Southeast Asian Institute of Educational Training Incorporated, and is also recognized by National Educators Academy of the Philippines, or what we call NEA. Allow me to start my talk by sharing a story about the woodcutter and his blunt axe. There is a parable about a woodcutter and his blunt axe. He was told to pause regularly, to sharpen the axe so that he can cut more wood efficiently. But he refused, as he was too busy cutting wood. Cutting wood is hard work for young leaders and looks different in different countries. In the United Kingdom, it involves mentoring the disadvantaged young people, showing them that God can change our lives. In Ireland, it means working with young people who are caught in circles of destructive behavior, showing them that God can make good of any bad situation. In the Philippines, here in our country, it involved teaching in rural areas that got hit by calamities, places where resources were limited, and with damaged infrastructure. Educators here sacrifice all they have to serve communities in practical ways, to show the importance of education, to make a difference in their lives later on. In this current situation, we need to learn to sharpen up our axe. Now, replacing the axe with you, my dear teachers, we need to take a moment to pause and learn how to sharpen up our skills to fit the next phase. If you don't take time to sharpen yourself, you will spend your whole life hacking away at missed opportunities. In sharpening ourselves, you need to take regular time of reflection to begin with the end in mind. Clarify our goals, refresh ourselves for the next phase, and plan innovatively well. In sharpening up your axe, great leaders don't blame the tools they are given, but they work to sharpen them up. Likewise, great teachers don't blame the schools they are given. Great teachers work to sharpen them up. What is then the definition of innovation? Innovation means first different, then better. And what do we mean by this? It is fundamentally different way of doing things with better and different outcomes. Both the different and the better must be significant and substantial. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. When you innovate, ask yourselves this: what is desirable to users? What is possible with technology? And what is viable in the marketplace? When it comes to education, innovation means what to you? This is the question that you have to answer. Innovation in education should be defined as making it easier for teachers and students to do the things they want to do. And according to the great educator Rob Abel of the United States of America, these are the innovations that succeed, scale, and sustain. We have to always remind ourselves that the great aim of education is not knowledge, but action. According to Albert Einstein, we cannot solve a problem by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Therefore, educators need to think of innovation of those actions that significantly challenge key assumptions about schools and the way they operate. Let me share to you a video about launching innovation in school.
We look at launching innovation through the lens of leadership. Leadership in schools is the work of bringing colleagues together to make learning better for our students. Leadership isn't a role. It's not a particular person in a department or building, but rather it's a set of functions distributed widely throughout an organization. It's a way of working together with other people.
Your school has a history, a culture. It's not like people have been doing nothing. And one of the big problems we have as leaders is often, without even intending, we communicate that, well, what you're doing now is not okay, you need to do this. That actually isn't what gets innovation moving. It starts with really understanding, honoring, and respecting what people have already done, and then helping them kind of come together around ideas that'll take their work forward.
The schools that can figure out this step of constant experimentation, evaluation, and adjustment, they become learning organizations, places where every student, teacher, and administrator in a building has the opportunity to be constantly learning and growing. Bringing people together around ideas they care about.
Creating a vision and getting to work.
Working together through ups and downs.
And measuring progress and continually adjusting, because you really never get it right the first time.
What ideas have you picked up from the video of launching innovation in schools? So here are the 4 key ideas from the video. Bringing people together around ideas they care about. Second, refining a vision and getting to work. Third, working together through ups and downs. And the last one, measuring progress and adjusting. Driving innovation and collaboration. How are we going to do this? It starts with having ideas. Then you have to look at the processes, services, manufacturing, your model, as well as your product. After you define which of the ideas you want to use, then you have to discover. Then after that, you're going to develop it. Then you have to deliver your brilliant idea. This is a typical innovation cycle that we use to start an innovation. The innovation cycle helps your organization become successful in identifying new ideas, implementing and integrating them into operations. You must ingrain this cycle into the DNA of your organization. According to Albert Einstein, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Through our failures, we strive to do something better. These are not just simple failures, but we can call them productive failures. Because through our mistakes, we create something new and great. We improve through our past experiences. And through this, we have to create a culture of innovation and support each other in the organization. Model your risk and your learning from failure. It means that the most essential part of creativity is not being afraid to fall. Mistakes are nothing to be ashamed of for innovators in an innovative organization. It is an expected cost of doing. Innovation versus improvement. As we go into concepts and impact of innovation in education, what is the difference between innovation and improvement? Huge improvements made by charter schools in traditional outcomes for students. Most are not new or different. Why? Because many of the proposed improvements in teacher education and evaluation and in student assessment and in school design in traditional public schools do not seem to be novel. Yet the challenges in improving learning and life outcomes require true innovation. In Japanese, innovation is kaikaku. It means a radical improvement. That is to strive to amaze customers, be creatively dissatisfied, strive to do much with less, and see problems as opportunities. Challenge the status quo and ask why or what if questions. You have to engage other stakeholders, Brainstorm solutions, look for synergies, act promptly, and learn as you go, and follow the Kaikaku with Kaizen. Kaizen is another Japanese word that means continuous improvements. As Washer states, we need solutions that are both different and better. Why innovation in education? A brand new generation of institutional leaders are taking the reins. The world has continued to shrink and is much smaller. Technology continued unabated, unchecked progression. What is now futuristic has become commonplace. Complexity is the daily norm, and change is only constant. Opportunities, problems, and grand challenges abound. If we redesign schools to get better results on 20th century outcomes, our students will be poorly served. Let us look at essential 21st century skills. At the bottom part, we have questioning, thinking, and creating. Then we have your enablers. These are the learning environment, curriculum, and instruction, and standards and assessments. After that, we have learning outcomes. First, learning outcome is the core academic foundation and the 21st century themes. Second is learning, thinking, and innovating skills. Third is life and social skills. And lastly, we have technology and info management skills. Effective school leaders need to consciously support innovation and keep a focus on changing the education landscape as it moves into the future. The focus is not on improving existing educational systems, but in changing them altogether. It is not on doing things better, but on doing better things. Not on doing things right, but on doing the right things to prepare students for a fast-changing, independent world. Our education is changing, and we cannot deny that. Why do we have to innovate? As we know, education is a process of facilitating learning, transferring knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits to others through storytelling, discussions, teaching, training, or research. The reason for education is simple and straightforward. That is to prepare students, predominantly young adults, for future success because education is our passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare it for it today. Let us look at the principles of traditional education before. It produced outputs like students who pass a standardized test. Teachers are sages on the stage. The bureaucracy, the rules, the plans, tests. The value is efficiency and cost cutting. The principles are mutually reinforcing and interlocking. The traditional test. Look at this particular picture. For a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. What is that? Please climb the tree. Do you think the elephant or the fish could climb the tree? This is quite the picture of our education system. According to Albert Einstein, everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Now we go to these principles of reinvented education. Inspire outcomes, passion for lifelong learning in students. Teachers serve as guide on the side. Administrators serve as enablers of teachers. Coordinate progress in learning through dynamic linking. Values that inspire lifelong learning. And communications, peer-to-peer conversation. The principles are mutually reinforcing and interlocking. So we ask the question, Is it better for students to be involved in innovative practices and participate in highly effective programs? Or should we play it safe and have them attend our schools that look like those we attended 30 years ago, our parents 60 years ago, and grandparents 90 years ago? Currently, most schools are not much different from the one our grandparents attended in the 1920s. Why? Let us look at the recent trends in the K-12 education. Some say that this change has been a long time coming. There is an analogy that uses a fairy tale character, Rip Van Winkle, to describe this. Near to the town in a small cottage lived Rip Van Winkle, known to all as a harmless drinker, who never would work but roam about, always ready with jest and song idly, tipping all day long. He went to sleep to run away from his nagging wife, and woke up to find that his wife had died. He was a character in a Washington Irving short story who went to sleep before the American War of Independence. He woke up 21 years later, after the war, and found himself in an independent United States of America. Recent trends in K-12 education. Rip Van Winkle has just woken up from his 100 years slumber and stares in amazement at how much everything has changed in the time he was asleep. He almost did not recognize anything until he went into a classroom. When Rip Van Winkle went to a classroom, he recognized immediately that it was a classroom because nothing much has changed in the K-12 education system since he fell asleep in 1919. So what is innovation in education? According to Dr. David Kidant, innovation in education is a technique that combines different styles to influence and to produce creative ideas, innovative products, and services. To charter new approaches in innovation, you have to transform yourself, your students, and your school to cultivate the habits and mindsets of innovators, to open the floodgates of creativity and generate ideas that you can take with confidence. The transformational leader make changes happen in self, others, groups, and organizations. Charisma is a special leadership style commonly associated with transformational leadership, which is extremely powerful and extremely hard to teach. Question: what makes some individuals and organizations more innovative than others? They ask provocative questions that challenge the status quo. They observe the world like anthropologists to detect new ways of doing things. If we don't challenge the way things they have always been, we will never discover the greatest breakthroughs of our future. There are three key elements that consistently drive innovation in education. The three P's. These are people, processes, and philosophies that make some individuals and the people they lead more innovative than others. What makes great teachers and great school leaders? I'm going to share another video.
What makes great teachers and great school leaders? Is it their degree or number of degrees? How they build relationships? Ability to engage students? And what makes a great school jurisdiction? Is it about designing district-wide professional learning plans, system leadership, school plans, money and facilities? Generally speaking, people will most likely tell you that it is the teacher that makes the difference in student learning. This idea is supported by research. To learn well, students benefit best from high-quality instruction and a well-crafted curriculum. After that, they benefit from strong school leadership. Great teachers and great leaders are tenacious about learning how to improve instruction. Great jurisdictions engage teachers and leaders in lifelong collaborative and strategic learning opportunities. School jurisdictions make sure that teachers and school leaders become as great as they can be. They understand that the best schools are built on people and put their learning first. They provide support for many and varied learning opportunities. Professional learning communities, collaboration time, peer feedback, coaching and mentoring, professional learning series. If teachers and leaders are engaged in meaningful learning opportunities on a regular basis, ultimately, students will experience quality education and success in learning, living, and life.
Entrepreneurs, inventors, and innovators around the world created and sustain high-performing cultures of innovation by building their people, processes, and philosophies around 5 fundamental discovery skills. We call this the 5 core skills of innovators. These are the innovators' DNA. So what are the 5 core skills of innovators? So we have here the discovery skills and delivery skills. We have questions for analyzing, observing for planning, networking for detail-oriented implementing, and we also have the experimenting for discipline, executing, and associating. Those are the 5 core skills of innovators. Innovative teaching supports students' development of the skills that will help them thrive in the future life and work. The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. What are the 21st century careers? It is all about a change. Change in our thinking, in our strategies, in our behaviors, to those that work in the new ever-changing and challenging environment to meet the challenges of the times. A need to keep yourself current, resilient through continuous learning, as well as connected to your values in the career of the 21st century. The 21st century shift innovative thinking is a new call, a shift from the 20th century traditional view of organizational practices, which discourage employee innovative behaviors, to valuing innovative thinking as a potentially powerful influence on organizational performance. The cliche "think outside the box" is also getting obsolete. We should think without the box. For my last slide, change. This is the 21st century shift in education and skill. Change is the only constant that stays today. To stay competitive, we need to manage the present and plan the future. Without change for the better, what we call the Kaizen, there will be no continuous improvement to be competitive in the current global competition. Continuous improvement. Improvement without ending. Thank you for listening to my talk.